In this video, we are going to study about the forces on a moving charge when it is in magnetic field. Force on a charge moving in magnetic field. So, let us suppose a charge A is Q, which is placed in a magnetic field B. Then, according to Lorentz, a magnetic force acts on this charge when it moves with a velocity v. So, the force which is acting on a charge is directly proportional to the magnitude of charge, directly proportional to the velocity of the charge, and directly proportional to sine of angle between the velocity of the charge and the magnetic field. So, if I say this is magnetic field V and the charge is moving in this direction V, then theta is this angle between B and D. So, sine of this theta, the force is directly proportional to sine theta. So, one more factor, will it depend upon this magnetic field also? Yes, this force is also proportional to the magnitude of the charge. So, combining these results we get F is equal to QVB sine theta. This is giving us the magnitude of the force. By writing it in its vector form, F vector is equal to Q into, this is V is a vector quantity, V is also a vector quantity. We can write it in this way, V cross B. So this gives us the vector form of this magnetic force. This is called as magnetic Lorentz force. Now, we can interpret this force. F is equal to QVB sine theta. So let us see the factors on which this force depends. First case, if V is equal to 0. What about force is also equal to 0. What does it mean? That if a charge does not move in magnetic field, it does not experience any force. Or you can say a stationary charge do not experience any force due to the magnetic field. So motion is first of all an important characteristic of the charge to enable it to experience a magnetic force. Now the second factor, the second case is if theta is equal to 0 degree. So when I write it as F is equal to QVB sine 0 degree, then this equation becomes 0 once again. So no force acting on a charge when theta is equal to 0. What does it mean? That if the charge is moving with a velocity v in the direction of v, then also it does not experience any force. So if a charge moves parallel to the field, parallel to v, if v is parallel to v, then also the force on the charge is equal to 0. The third case, if theta is equal to 180 degree, then force is equal to Q V B cos 180 degree. So 180 degree, this is sine 180 degree. Now once again this sine 180 degree is also it does not experience any force. So in this situation also, no force acts on the charged particle due to the magnetic field. And the next case, that is if theta is equal to 90 degree. So the force becomes F is equal to Q into V into B into cos of 90, sine of 90 degree. That means Q V B into 1 or F is equal to Q V B. This is the maximum value of the force acting on this particle. Now let us see this situation. When velocity is perpendicular to the direction of the external magnetic field. So let us suppose here, if B is the direction of the magnetic field and velocity is in this direction, so they are perpendicular to each other, making an angle theta which is equal to 90 degree. So the force acting on this particle will be maximum here, and in this case the direction of the force can be obtained by using a rule. What is that rule called as? The rule is known as Fleming's left hand rule. Fleming's left hand rule. Now in order to find out the direction of force on this charged particle which is moving with velocity v such that it is perpendicular to B, we will use a rule which is called as Fleming's left hand rule. According to this rule, if we stretch the left hand three fingers as shown, they are mutually perpendicular to each other. If forefinger indicates the direction of magnetic field, middle finger indicates the direction of motion, then thumb will indicate the direction of the force. So let us apply this Fleming's left hand rule to our situation. Forefinger is directed in the direction of the magnetic field, middle finger is directed in the direction of velocity. Then what is the direction of the thumb? Thumb is pointing perpendicular inward. So it is perpendicular inward. This is the direction of the force. It is perpendicular inward. So this is only applicable. Fleming's left hand rule we will apply only in this case when the velocity vector is mutually perpendicular. Otherwise we can just apply the rule for finding out the direction of any cross product. This you have learned in class 11. What is the rule to find out the direction of cross product? When two vectors are inclined at an angle theta, we use the right-handed screw rule or the right-hand thumb rule. So, if this is the velocity vector, suppose v, and this is the direction of b, suppose they are making an angle theta, then the value of the force is given by F vector is equal to Q into V cross B. So, the direction of the B can be found by using the right hand thumb rule. So, I put the thumb at the intersection of the two vectors V and B and curl the finger in the direction of the cross product, that is from V to B. So, when I put my thumb here and move the curls of my finger from V to B vector, again you can find the thumb is indicating in a direction perpendicular to the plane of the board. So, direction of the force is again F is directed perpendicular to plane of board and it is inward, in inward direction. So, this is the rule by which we can find out the direction of the cross product. Now, one more case can be applicable if the force to find out the force on a charge which is moving in a magnetic field as well as in presence of electric field also. So in the next case, let us suppose there is an existence of magnetic field and electric field. Force on a charge moving in magnetic field and electric field. So this charge particle when it moves in the presence of the two fields, the Lorentz force F is given by QE vector, this is F vector, plus second magnetic force is Q into V vector cross of B. So if V is equal to 0, then the force acting will be only electrostatics, that is equal to QE. And if V is not equal to 0, then the force is sum of the two forces, that is electrostatic force plus the magnetic force. So the total of the two will give you the resultant value of the magnetic force. In this situation, you have to keep in mind that the velocity of the particle must neither be parallel nor be anti-parallel to the direction of the applied magnetic field. Otherwise, magnetic